It's a cat dressed as a monkey, Lewis. Look at it.
Hello, welcome to the podcast.
Look, it's a cat. Oh, it's not started yet.
Are we starting it?
Look, it's a cat dressed as a monkey. It's just
Fucking hell, Stephen. I'm not.
Why is the cat dressed? Like, he looks so sick of being a monkey.
What the Stephen? It's disdain. I've never seen you so fucking upset.
Vicky made me watch this last night and it just broke me. I don't know if it's because I was tired, but it just it flew in like a stealth bomber under my normal relief.
Oh, Jesus. Oh my god. Here's the thing.
Oh, I'm alright. I'm back.
Are you You look like you're having a stroke. Here's a problem that I have is that I didn't necessarily think that was funny. I found you laughing at that hilarious.
It's a cat dressed as a monkey. I don't understand how you don't find that funny.
I find it. Was that? Have I just lost the point?
Yeah. Or are we doing points?
I think so. So I can't even do the intro properly. We're going
to theme song. Hello and welcome to the first episode of Ignorance and Want.
Yeah.
It's got a format now.
And also, you said that you wanted it, so you can't fault us for doing it now. You said
you encouraged us.
Yeah, you encouraged us. You said we were good at things.
Ha!
Yes, give us money now. Anyway. Hello and welcome.
Hello and welcome to the podcast.
Stephen is a broken person after...
We just watched a video of a cat dressed as a monkey and destroyed my sense of being.
You know what I find funny about that video was that it could be infinitely improved by, changing the soundtrack.
Couldn't be improved. It may have had a soundtrack. I had it muted. You don't know.
Did you not listen to the soundtrack?
It hasn't sound on it the first time, which I think is maybe what pushed me over the edge. Because it had a really, happy...
I mean, you need something something very sinister, like a Saw soundtrack, or something with a lot of tension in the background, like that cat is going to kill you.
What, like the Get Smart theme tune?
Yes.
Da, 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 da. You know the Get Smart theme tune?
I know what it is, yeah. I can't.
Right, what is our theme this week, Lewis? Because we decided to theme the podcast.
Stephen, you decided to theme it.
I thought our theme could be war because I was looking at Nuke Map and I watched Beast of War the other day, the film. So
as we record this, we've literally 6 hours ago. Was it 6 hours or 8 hours ago that North Korea have tested a nuclear?
Oh yeah, it's topical as well.
Yes.
Although any war podcast is going to be topical. Well, no, you can start. I've set up the order. We can't violate the order.
Yeah, but I don't have anything for that segment.
You haven't prepared anything.
I haven't for that segment, no.
So there's nothing you could tell me on a war theme that we could see if I don't know. Play with the theme. Have fun with it.
I don't know.
Oh god.
I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Yeah.
I do actually.
This is why we have a theme.
Okay, I bet you don't know. Yeah. There is a difference between British tanks and all other NATO tanks.
Yeah, I do know that.
What's the difference? That's both.
I know that there's emissions regulations for tanks from the EU.
I didn't.
Because we are worried of all of the things. Of all of the things coming out of various bits of a tank, the ones we're worried about is not the lead coming out the front, it's the emissions coming out the back, because you don't want to pollute a war zone.
Yeah.
While you're blowing it to pieces.
Exactly.
You want to meet the emissions regulations.
Yeah, you've killed 100 children with one shell, but you know what's doing the damage? Is the 40 people left dying
the 40 people,
cancer
the 40 people who now have asthma because of your terrible emissions.
Tanks all have what's known as a boiling vessel. And
they make tea in them.
Yes! Only British tanks have these. and they have...
I thought they all had facilities for making hot drinks, because they have to be able to boil water, because that's a key survival thing in a polluted post-apocalyptic nuclear wasteland.
Yeah, but only Britain's thought of that.
I think they all have facilities to boil water.
I don't think they do. I can search this up.
I do know that Britain's tanks specifically have a thing for making tea.
Yes.
So if you don't like tea, are there other beverages available? Like one of those things in like restaurants where you put the cup and push it in and you get like Sprite, Diet Coke. Yes. Reliable British Challenger tank, sponsored by Costa. Challenger 2 tank. Yeah.
What's our sponsor for today's podcast?
We have lots of sponsors, but we'll get to them after the other ones.
Fair enough.
I've already shown you this, so you do know. So does that mean you get a point? 1 point to Lewis.
Yay! Is this the first point of the podcast?
The first point?
No, I lost the first point.
Did you?
Yeah, because you said the thing about Guy Pearce films. And
Well, I don't think we're going to count that because we didn't know we were doing points. Yeah, you lost without even naming one Guy Pearce film.
Yeah, I thought you didn't even know who Guy Pearce was. In my defence, Your Honour, I still haven't researched who Guy Pearce is.
Guy Pearce is a great actor.
You already told me.
He is the toast of Broadway. Well, I got up this nuke map.
Yes.
I bet you don't know how much... let's look at one I actually know.
Stephen right now is on a website called...
This is Man Looks Up Thing on Computer. The return of the segment the world has been waiting for. I bet you don't know what the largest tested nuclear... The yield of the largest tested nuclear bomb of all time is.
It was the Tsar bomb.
Yes.
Was it a test or was it an accident?
No, it's the actual test.
Was the test of it?
50 megatons.
I
Big bomb.
did know this, but now you just reminded me and you haven't given me enough time to...
Detonated over central Edinburgh. What do you think the yield was? And bonus points for fatalities and injuries without looking at the screen.
Okay. Fatalities, 100,000.
Oh, you're way off. I'll give you a second guess.
650,000.
Yeah, that's closer because you've looked at the screen.
Did I actually... No, did I get rid of it?
696,000.
Oh, that's... No, I didn't look at the screen. Your thing's in the way.
690. Oh, that's quite well placed.
Yeah.
Injuries, considering there's 600,000 dead.
I don't know, like... I reckon it'd be quite small.
500,000 injuries. 500,000 people injured.
Jesus Christ.
That's quite a lot.
But what are their injuries?
Well, it doesn't specify.
Is it just like... Is it like...
Your injuries from a nuclear blast would be pretty horrific.
So, it would be...
Third degree burns, damage from secondary explosions and missiles. When a nuclear bomb would go off, all glass in the country would basically shatter. So if you were standing next to a window at the time, you'd get a face full of glass.
Yeah.
And buildings would fall down, and people would also be injured in panic and by other people while looting, and it would be fun. This is a comedy podcast.
Yeah, can we go back to the cat video?
We've forgotten to note, we've gone from monkey cats to the effect of a nuclear blast.
That, to be fair, that's not a big step to take, really.
Glasgow would be alright. If you look at the blast wave, Glasgow makes it. The blast goes as far as... Oh, Hamilton, you've had it. Cumbernauld had it.
Motherwell's had it.
Motherwell's had it. But Cambuslang's alright.
Yes.
And East Kilbride, sadly, is alright.
Bishop Briggs is alright.
Well, it's not. I've been there.
At least we can have a laugh about it. We can, like, you could destroy Glasgow with a picture of trips on a sketchy website about an arts funding programme.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's load up our shotguns and take out our frustrations on these fish in this barrel.
That was a f***ing easy segue.
From nuclear war to culture war. The Glasgow Effect.
Yeah.
Which is to make people incredibly angry that you decide to live in Glasgow for a year.
Yeah. Here's the thing I don't like about the project. She's lived in Glasgow for 4.5 years already.
Yeah, that is slightly like, I will continue to live in Glasgow.
Yes.
Can I live in Glasgow as I have been doing?
It's like
for a year.
It's almost like she's written a letter to Creative Scotland saying, like, I've lived in Glasgow.
Can I have 15 grand, please?
Yes.
No, I think it belies how getting funding is so much... It's nothing to do with how good your project is, and it's nothing to do with how good an artist you are, and it's nothing to do with anything like that. It's to do with how good you are. It's like getting a job. It's nothing to do with how competent you are, because of all the people I deal with every day.
Yeah.
In every job are utterly incompetent. It's to do with how good you are at interviews.
Yeah.
Same with exams. It's not to do with how smart you are or how good you are at the subject. It's to do with how good you are at exams.
I've got this idea that you've gone for the interview. You're just going to turn up to work and say, I'll turn up to work. I'm not going to do anything.
Yeah, well, just like I did feel like putting that on my CV. I am utterly incompetent. Please hire me, because that seems to be the way you hire people. It seems to be the way people get jobs, is by being fucking useless.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I actually don't think the rage is that justified for the Glasgow Effect. Like, there's far worse things get far more funding.
Yes.
It's only 15 grand, which, as Creative Scotland goes, is a big grant for a single person project, but is not a huge amount of money.
Yeah.
And is not the stupidest thing they've ever funded.
Again, it's still mixed reviews, but 15 grand could be used on, say, like my flatmate said this, like, you could have 15 smaller grants of 1,000 going to other independent artists who could kickstart their career with something. Like, they could use it for funding, like, press into one of their art projects or something like that. That's money much more well spent than a single 15 grand.
That is true, but I think you can get to the point, like 1,000 for 15 different artists would be good, or 15 grand into a venue. Like, that would allow a venue to completely reinvigorate itself.
Yeah.
Or to build a venue out of a disused building or something.
Yeah.
Or would certainly go a long way towards that. But I think it does get to the point where people are like, oh, you could give 100 grants to 1,500 artists. And I was like, yeah, it gets to the point where you dilute it so much it's hardly worth doing. Yeah. Like, if you were giving 100 quid to someone, what are they going to do with that? I mean, you could be creative, but not much.
Yeah. See,
I don't know, we haven't actually seen the results of this project yet. Granted, it is a year-long project. Maybe she will come up with something really interesting. Maybe it'll be like a really good tabletop book about, like, cities and cultures, and I think there is scope there to do really interesting stuff about how Glasgow really is a changed city. I mean, every movie you watch, we just watched Sherlock, all that stuff is about London's changed. Yeah, everyone's noticed that London has changed. Every movie, every postcard has the gherkin in it. Like, it's not an interesting thing to say anymore. But
you did say, by the way,
but Glasgow is really interesting because it is a massively changed city in the last, like, say, all Scottish cities. Like, when I went to Dundee, I was amazed by how much it changed. And Edinburgh as well is just this crazy modern city that I think very few people are actually writing about and talking about and drawing pictures of.
You did mention earlier on, though, that Glasgow as a city is like the worst place to do it in Scotland. If you did,
Glasgow is certainly the easiest place to do it in Scotland, because the whole point is she was talking about, I'm an artist, I'm a lecturer, an academic, and like my academics from uni, they were always like travelling and moving about, and like, so it is a life that requires you to travel. Although this project would have been harder 5 years ago when Skype was harder and internet connections weren't as good, so you could go to a conference by Skype, especially if you can say, I'm doing an art project.
Yes, I'm also naked below the belt.
But yeah, Glasgow, of all the possible places to do it, I mean, even Dundee or Aberdeen might actually be an interesting thing, because they have so few facilities, they have so few things for people to do, that you could say, can you actually, as an artist and an academic, live in Aberdeen, which has no art scene at all? Yeah. I don't want to offend all the Aberdeen artists I know by saying that, but they're really poor compared to somewhere like Edinburgh or Glasgow or London or Leeds as like an art area. But yeah, living in Glasgow, it's like there's a huge art scene in Glasgow. Yeah. There's a huge everything scene. You're never ever going to be like, oh, I really wish I could have some Moroccan food. Too bad. No, you get everything you ever wanted. So yeah, to stay in Glasgow is not really that difficult.
Yeah, try and do something like that in
do it in
Lawrence
like Kirkcaldy or something like that. Lawrence Kirk would be a good one, because that would drive you mad.
It would, yeah.
And it's also, the project doesn't seem to be about, I said it would be interesting to explore Glasgow as a city and interesting to do all that stuff. None of that actually seems to be happening. The project appears to be about her. And I don't give a toss about her, because she appears to be a sort of fluty middle-class London artist. Yeah. And what living in a massive international city with everything you could ever want does to you, probably very little. I would be interested to watch somebody like that explore the paroxysms of despair driven to by living in Lawrence Kirk and never leaving the city limits for a year. That would be interesting. Yeah. But I'm not that interested in what living in Glasgow does to her. I don't think that'll be interesting. I think she should look outward rather than in.
Yeah, just a massive ego trip. So, That covers class war.
This podcast today sponsored by Class War. Class War! Rise up, you have nothing to lose but your chains. Incidentally, another one of our sponsors, Nuclear War. Class War, breaking up the classes. Nuclear War, breaking up everything.
Oh, Jesus.
You haven't spoken to sponsors to get them on board.
Exactly.
You haven't phoned up Nuclear War and seen if they'll sponsor our podcast like I had to do.
You're like, the podcast for your side of the podcast is sponsored by Trident.
So I am sponsored by Nuclear War.
Yeah, you're sponsored by Trident.
You
weapon system.
I'm
sponsored by Trident Gum.
Yeah, that's the same company.
Yes.
That's how they fund the weapon system. That's how they're going to have to renew it.
Exactly.
You can be sponsored by North Korean nuclear detonation. Terrifying and yet hilarious. Because
it's like a small firecracker.
We used to have scary enemies. We used to have Hitler, the Russians, the Vikings a long time ago. They're all pretty scary. Kim Jong-un's not scary.
No.
He's funny.
He's
just really funny. I'm just thinking about him now and I'm starting to crack up because he's really funny. Did you see he bent over a bed in a promotional photo and the internet went mad?
Photoshop everywhere.
Oh, it was good. It was good. Right.
Next up,
it's the show and tell culture corner.
Stephen,
did you bring something to show and tell?
And it's
well, you'll have to wait because you started the last one.
Nah.
I've got something to show and tell.
Okay.
It's a Christmas present, but it also ties handily into our theme. And I can be really boring about it for like 3 hours.
Nice! Where did you get that from?
It is Vulcan XH558 Bomber Ale, which I haven't opened, and I won't probably for some time. It also comes with a Vulcan glass, which you can't see.
That's f***ing awesome.
It's a regular glass, but it has Vulcan on it.
Yeah. You know, like, when you start drinking that,
you've
got that. It's for that moment when you have that sudden urge to bomb Port Stanley.
Yes. Well, it wasn't a sudden urge, they had to plan that. But yeah,
it's an urge anyway.
I'm a little bit obsessed with the Vulcan. What is your feeling? First on comedy ales.
Comedy ales.
What about the Iron Maiden ale? Do you like that one?
Oh god, no. No. I don't like... I generally won't drink anything that is made for specific... Like... Do you know what I'm saying? Like, for like...
He's getting to the end of a sentence.
For specific gimmick.
For specific people who can end sentences. Yeah. That's who he won't drink things for.
Like, if I'm thirsty, I'll buy a beer.
Yes.
Right? But I won't buy the beer on the basis of its name, necessarily.
So you'll buy literally any fluid. You will go into a shop and be like, I'm not going to buy the beer specifically on its name.
No.
Give me some of that X-Lax. That's what I want. I want to spend the next 3 days on the toilet.
Dear barkeep, I've been bunged up for the past couple of days. Give me something that made me through an eye of a needle. Guinness.
Not through the eye of a needle, but you will, if you drink Guinness all night, you will...
do about 20 quid's worth of damage.
Yeah, you will crack the toilet bowl. But you will, it'll come out. Because it'll have to, the mass will demand to leave you.
We've had various moments of a drinking session where that's nearly been the case. I'm not even joking.
Yeah, Guinness is
not even Guinness. Dave's Destructions.
Those don't make you defecate. They release all other manner of bodily functions, but there's no defecation in my experience.
I've never been closer to death in my life. I mean, when it was my first flat, I was hanging onto that toilet bowl for my dear life because I genuinely
didn't know. The black dog of despair humps your leg and shits in your bed when you drink that stuff. That is not good. So you don't like comedy ales. Do you like the Vulcan comedy ale? I haven't drunk it. I don't know if it's nice.
That's the thing.
Deep, ruby, smooth and refreshing beer with light bitterness and moreish drinking quality. 4.2% ABV.
See, that beer is cool because it has the Vulcan on it.
Well, I thought the other one was cooler.
I don't think it would be cool because if I drink it, I don't think it will taste nice.
Well, that's the problem with a lot of these, is they are just a slightly dodgy batch. That the brewery's like, if we put a name on this, it'll sell gangbusters.
Yeah.
Like, I tried the Iron Maiden one, it really wasn't very nice.
It's the only one that has been really okay in terms of comedy naming and in terms of production. Banana bread beer.
That's not comedy, that's a real beer.
But
it's made with banana bread, it's not just a regular beer that they've made. So the other one is Blue Steel Nuclear Ale. which I hope is incredibly powerful. But I don't think it is. It doesn't say how much it is.
They measure the percentage in terms of megatons.
It's only 5% volume.
Oh, that's bullshit.
If it's blue steel nuclear ale, it should be like 50%.
Yeah.
It should crawl in your skull and look out your eyes.
It should be like... It's like Brewdog's Tactical Nuclear Penguin. It was like 38%.
Yeah, that stuff blew your head off. I've never had any, but apparently it was brutal. I had the 7... What was it? Tokyo 17%?
Yeah. It's 18.2.
That's nasty stuff.
I had that. I liked it because it tasted a tiny bit like sherry. And when I first...
it's got the same
it,
ABV as sherry, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. The when I first... when I had got it, I think it was a present from my mum. I got up and instantly had jelly legs and did not know about it. But I fell over. It's like, oh crap, falling over. Okay, that's fine. That's a bit embarrassing, but I can get up.
Was it one of those like slow falls? Where you like you're going, but it takes like 20 seconds to get there because you like slide down the side of a cab and you're like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm falling. Oh, I'm terribly sorry about this. I am falling now. And then you end up on the floor.
It was immediate effect, and I literally just got up and then fell down. So I was like, oh, that seems to be embarrassing. But that wasn't the most embarrassing point. I used my door handle as leverage to get up. So
that's a bad choice.
I pulled on the door handle fell off. Yeah. Hit me in the forehead, and I had Yale printed backwards onto my head.
Oh, I think I remember that, actually.
I got to the toilet, I've never been so mesmerised and dizzy, and it was saying, yeah. My head, like, well, cheers for that. Yeah, it was a really nice beer. I can confirm.
Yeah, Tokyo is nice.
As a beer, it's effective in that it fucks you.
Yes. And what do you think of the Vulcan bomber? Did you follow that? I know a lot of people I didn't expect to kind of did.
The retirement of the Vulcan bomber.
Well, I followed years and years ago the display one, XH558.
I followed your following of it.
Ah, okay.
I saw a couple of friends that we are friends with liked and commented on certain videos and gone, oh, that's the retirement of the Vulcan bomber, because it's a beautiful jet.
It's a really nice aircraft. We went to see it at Ayr. At the Scottish Air Show down in Ayr, and it was the star of the show. It was just, all the other jets was like, not interested.
Yeah.
But that one was just spectacular. The noise and just like spectacular engineering. Just a work of genius.
The story, which we might put links to on YouTube, where the bombing of the runway in the Falklands. The
Black Buck missions.
Yes, the only active mission the Vulcan has ever done.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the only... Well, they flew other missions, but it's the only...
Active war.
It's the only hostile mission they ever flew. Well, no, there were several bombing raids over the Falklands. 8, I think.
But they were not... Were they not with Jaguars?
There was 2 with... 2 on the... No, 8 Vulcan raids.
Oh, right, okay.
Have you been out to East Fortune, to the museum out there?
I haven't, not yet.
It's really good. They've got the Vulcan there that has marked on it the two markings of the Shrike missile strikes. That's what a lot of the missions were. It was the Shrike anti-radiation missiles to take out Argentine anti-aircraft radars, which is what the Shrike does. It targets into anti-aircraft radar. And it also has a Brazilian flag painted on the side. A little Brazilian flag in the... You know, they would like notch up swastikas. Well, it's got 2 missiles and a Brazilian flag, because it was the one that missed a refueling window and had to divert to Rio de Janeiro International Airport at the height of the Falklands War, and had to land. And the story around that is really quite scary.
I've not heard the story behind
Oh, they were basically running on fumes. And they said, we can't land with weapons on board. We can't land with a Shrike missile still on the side of the plane. So we have to get rid of it. We'll just turn around and fire it into the Atlantic. So on fumes, they turn away from Rio, out towards the Atlantic. But the Shrike detects radar, and is supposed to seek out like radar emplacements and take them out. They turn around, the screen lights up with the entire Brazilian fishing fleet, which is out in the Atlantic, and the Shrike missiles going, which one do you want to hit? And they had to fly out over the Brazilian fishing fleet until the sea was bare and just fire it so it flew out into the sea.
Holy shit.
And landed. The other funny story around that is that it landed and it was given back, I think, a week later on the stipulation that bomber was given back by the Brazilian government, was not allowed to be used in any offensive action from that point forward. But the Black Buck missions were basically finished by then anyway.
Yeah.
But they weren't allowed to use that bomber.
That's quite understandable then, if that's the case.
But I do know that the only thing that followed them back to the UK was a bar bill that the pilots had built up in Rio while they were waiting to be discharged. Followed them back, and apparently was still unpaid.
That's beautiful.
It's all in that book. I've got the books in my bookshelf somewhere. Vulcan 607. That's a great book.
I'll give it a read at some point.
But yeah, 558. I saw it at Air, and it's a really special aircraft. It's a bit of a shame that it's gone, but
yeah, beautiful aircraft. Well, I've had nothing really like it. I mean, I'm a fan of the Tornado, but
it's kind of like Concorde in that it's at once massively out of date and never been bettered.
Yeah.
Like, Concorde needed to be replaced with something else, but they just never built another supersonic airliner. They just never thought to build one. It's just so annoying.
That's the thing, is like, the reason why they haven't built one is because it costs so much and there wasn't any real competition. If you were to fly across the Atlantic, it would cost you, I don't know, £500 nowadays in money. Yeah. If you went to buy Concorde, it would cost you maybe $1.50, but you get there slightly faster. So the easier option is, and more sensible option is, to go buy regular conventional jet, 747 or whatever. Well, the Concorde's a bit like the HS2 argument then. A lot of people say that HS2 isn't required. It is required. So I'm not quite sure what your thoughts are on it. The reason why it's required is because we need to compete with airlines. If we are to cut carbon emissions in the UK, we need to start using trains more for places like Edinburgh to London journeys, Aberdeen to London journeys, long distance journeys that can be covered by plane and can be cheaper.
That's the thing, is Edinburgh is about the furthest south. Like, if I was in Manchester, I would just get the train to London. Like, you can't really justify getting a plane. So like, Britain has that thing. Like, in America, they just fly. They don't think anything of it because America is so vast. It takes days to cross the country by train. But in Britain, most train journeys can last like a day. But our trains are the slowest and the most expensive of
all European
nations.
Yeah.
The Dutch government operates more of the British railway system than the British government does.
That is true.
Because they just bought ScotRail.
Abellio run the franchise for ScotRail. It's a franchise.
They control something like 2 times as much railway track as the entirety of Holland has.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah. And we
recently ditched what is it called? East Coast. East Coast. Historically, one of the best train lines with the best reputation. People liked it the most. The best ticket prices. Also happens to be one of the few that's state-owned.
Yes.
We had to get rid of that. God forbid that something that is actually good. Now, customer complaints going up. The carriages aren't as good. I was on an East Coast train. It's not nearly as good as it used to be because it's now owned by a company that has to drag profit out of it. And the ticket prices have gone up.
Do you know who owns it? Richard Branson. And I said, I'm going to go on, this is going to be a massive rant, in that literally on the 30th of December I booked tickets to go to London at the end of this month. It cost me £62 to go to London.
Extortionate.
Right? So
actually for London that's not too bad.
It's not too bad. I went
for
the cheap. It's return.
It cost me more than that to get to Aberdeen.
Yeah, it's really bad. I got the cheapest possible trains, which includes a train going via the West Coast, which is also owned by Virgin Trains. So in theory,
how is that cheaper?
It's cheaper. I don't know why. It's 19.
My point is that it uses like there was an article in the Guardian that was like, save money by booking trains in bits.
Yeah.
I mean, this has been a thing all through my life. People say if you go to a gig in London, don't book a train Aberdeen to London. Book like Aberdeen to Dundee to Edinburgh, Sheffield, and book it down the way. Even if it's the same train, you never get off the train. Same train, but it's much cheaper to book 5 tickets than it is to book 1. Logic up the arse.
Yeah.
How does that make any sense?
And that's the thing, is that I kind of relates into why I'm really angry, is the fact that I booked these tickets and then on the 4th, which was 2 days ago, Virgin Trains announced we're having a super seat sale, which is £15 flat fare for those tickets. The same fucking tickets that I fucking booked!
Can you not get a discount on it? Or have you already bought them?
I already bought them in advance.
So there's no discount available to you?
There's no discount available to me. But if something comes up, for example, if I bought those tickets for £62, which are the cheapest I could possibly find because of my financial constraints, should I not be entitled to get that difference back? Because I've looked for the...
You made an agreement with Virgin to buy those tickets at that price?
Yeah, at that price and time. But if they go cheaper, is that not fair?
No, it's not fair. But
how?
Life isn't fair. I don't know, have your parents failed you by not telling you that life isn't fair?
Yeah,
that
they have.
good things happen to bad people and bad things happen to good people with no rhyme or reason. You made an agreement with Virgin for those tickets to take you on that date for £62.
Yeah.
They may have known they were going to do the sale, and it was slightly cheeky of them to sell it at a greatly increased price. This is a bit like the real estate agent who sells you a house and 2 weeks later they build a motorway through it.
It sounds like you sound like you're being satirical about the Aberdeen bypass.
But I don't think that's going through anyone's house. I think they've all negotiated that all right. There's not been any.
Yeah, it's actually been really good. Isn't it?
I never find Anderson Drive's that bad. I mean, it is at rush hour, but a bypassing can fix that. I have very little sympathy with you. You bought a ticket, you lost out. Sometimes you buy a ticket, you win. This is the way it goes. I was a bit annoyed. I bought tickets for Edinburgh up to Aberdeen just before Christmas.
Yeah.
And at no point there or back did anyone check my ticket. And it was all through. Like, when I got on at Edinburgh, it was platform 20, so there's no ticket barriers.
Yeah.
And I got off at Inverurie, no ticket barriers.
Yeah.
Got on at Inverurie and got off at Edinburgh, platform like 8 or something, there were no ticket barriers. So I could have just not bought a ticket.
Yeah.
And at no point did anyone check my ticket because the train was mobbed. At no point did anyone check that I actually was supposed to be on this train or had a ticket at all. So I just not paid.
That is
But the whole of my uni days, I used to get the train back from uni every day for 4 years and paid maybe like 10 times. Because it's the train from North Berwick that takes like 2 minutes to get into Edinburgh.
Yeah.
They would never ever get to all of us.
No.
If you always, as the train drew in, you made a note of where the ticket inspector was. If they were at one end of the train, you got on at the other. And
so if anybody wants to go from Musselburgh,
if you would like to go from Musselburgh to Edinburgh, I recommend it.
Yes.
Don't buy a ticket on the platform because you won't need a ticket.
Yeah. Maybe also point we highly endorse going from Musselburgh to Edinburgh and not Edinburgh to Musselburgh.
Well, no, if you need to go to Musselburgh to do your studies.
Nobody needs to go to Musselburgh.
I did to do my studies. I used to get the bus there though. I never used to.
Let me reword this. Nobody wants to go to Musselburgh.
Musselburgh's actually alright.
Really?
As Scottish towns go, Musselburgh's not too bad. It's not the depressing f***ing shithole that Kirkcaldy is. I love Kirkcaldy and all of our Kirkcaldy-based listeners.
The Glasgow Effect. You couldn't even pay me $50,000 to take a shit in one of their public toilets.
Well, I worked in Kirkcaldy for 10 weeks and it made me sad.
Anyway, next topic!
Do you have any problems from our honourable listeners, or maybe a problem of your own? You said you have a sore face. Did you disobey the rules of dental hygiene?
I do, yeah. My problem is that my back teeth are f***ed.
Are they coming in?
No.
Is it wisdom tooth? Well, it wouldn't be wisdom tooth.
No,
would it?
I've been really bad. I'm not going to get any pay for this, and my diet's been absolutely awful. It's been entirely sugar based for the past 26 years. I'm marginally close to diabetes, and my back tooth is completely eroded away. And it's only in the past 2 weeks. A little bit chipped off. I'm pretty sure it was a filling. I'm not quite sure. That's how much of a rookie I am. I didn't know if there was a filling or anything like that.
Do you not remember it being put in?
No.
You must remember.
I remember.
Most people have been to the dentist on so few occasions they can remember each one. And remember what the dentist put in or took out of their mouth.
Yeah, that's how much of a rookie I am. I don't know what people have done to my teeth.
How do you not know?
I know that I've got one now. I know I've got a filling on the other side of my mouth that is completely fine. But the other side
Well, the thing that came out, was it made of you or was it made of metal?
It was made of me.
Well, then that's not a filling then, is it?
Well, I don't...
Filling is made of metal.
I don't know the first part, though. Like, the first part that broke off, I don't know it broke off.
Did you swallow that?
I was asleep. I woke up in the morning and it was like... Something tastes weird. Something's a bit gritty in my mouth. Oh, God, it's my face! Yeah.
Well, I have teeth like a vandalised graveyard. But...
Your teeth are better than mine.
My teeth are perfect. It's one of the few things my body does naturally right. I was going to say eyesight. My eyesight's f***ed, but f***ed in a very unique way. But yeah, my teeth, I went to the dentist for the first time in like 8 years when we were in Dundee. Because I was like, I better go, because she'll probably open my mouth and go, Jesus Christ! Looks like a swamp monster from the planet Wretch.
Jeez.
But no, she was like, I wish everyone had teeth as nice as yours. And said my teeth were perfect and nothing needed done to them.
That's brilliant.
And all she did was basically jet wash the inside of my face.
Super.
So that was all that happened. She just said, keep brushing your teeth, keep flossing, your teeth are perfect.
That's it. See,
I've never had a filling. The only thing that a dentist has ever done is look in my mouth. They've never had to pull anything out or put anything in. And my wisdom teeth even came through. They just went, bing, we're here. And I was like, oh good. Some people have problems with their wisdom teeth. I don't, because I'm wise.
for the listener, Stephen's giving me that look as if the dentist did have anything to say
So
about his teeth.
I think we should tell.
them.
I think we should tell the listeners. We should give them the audio version of the look I just gave you, which was.
You know what really annoys me, by the way?
I'm so smug.
You know what? I've just booked an appointment for the dentist. You know what time it is next Tuesday?
2:30.
That's 2:25. I was really pissed off.
They'll turn up late. They probably don't book things at 2:30. They'll deliberately not do it.
I originally got this appointment. I got in the back of the email. It was like, your appointment is at 2:25. You motherfuckers! I was really pissed off. I was really secretly had my fingers crossed, waiting for that email to come back. It's like, what time is my appointment? What time is my appointment? 2:25. Oh, you dick!
I would just like to say that this podcast is brought to you by Toothache. Ha 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 ha. And okay, problems. Oh yeah, we've already been over the problems.
You know what?
Your problem was your sore face.
And while you've asked me, I haven't got you your present.
Oh no, you haven't. We skipped ahead.
Yeah, we skipped ahead.
What present did you bring me? Is it food? Ah! Filthy unionist biscuits he's bought me. Filth. Ah,
for the listeners, it is.
He knows the way to my heart.
Yes, Tunnocks caramel wafers.
Ah,
the unionist wet dream. Now
8-pack of. Isn't it funny that we both knew what you were trying to do with this? You weren't trying to buy me nice caramel wafers. Oh, I can eat these. Firstly, because these are chewy, so you can't eat them if your teeth are
Oh, no, I can't. I really cannot eat those now.
And secondly, you can't eat them because they're full of sugar. I can. So, to return to our previous segment...
Cheddar bell.
Oh man, caramel wafer. I love caramel wafers. We both knew though that it was this stupid story about unionist biscuits because Tunnocks, a Scottish confectionery maker, have decided in their English campaign to refer to themselves as British biscuits because that's what marketing is. It's pretending you share the values with the head you sell your crap to.
Yeah.
And some Scottish nationalists, famously level-headed and intelligent, decided they would boycott some biscuits.
You can't really boycott biscuits.
Yeah, you can just not buy them.
Well, yeah.
That's what boycott is.
Yeah, but you can't really... What, in Scotland? With a high diabetes margin?
Yeah.
You can't boycott biscuits in Scotland. It's a fact. It doesn't matter.
Oh, you're saying the boycott will fail, not that it's... philosophically unsound.
No, even if there was a massive picket outside of every supermarket like Tesco, Sainsbury's, somebody will get a bit hungry and go, you know what?
They'd be passing them out the back door.
Exactly. There'll be like somebody going like, here you go, here's a tea cake.
I would have a caramel wafer, but if we did it on the podcast, it would sound like a dog eating ravioli. Yeah. So can we agree that is stupid and you should stop boycotting biscuits just because their marketing campaign briefly mentions the word British, which after all they are, and we voted to remain a part of the union? I mean, I don't like it either, but we did. Yeah. You have to come to terms with this, Scottish nationalists.
You have to come to terms with there's worse things than people...
You're going to have to come to terms with the fact that this is the real world and that Tunnocks isn't I know you want to get your own back on the people responsible for the no vote, but Tunnocks isn't that.
Yeah.
They advertise as Scottish in Scotland. I can't even be bothered. This podcast is brought to you by Tunnocks caramel wafers. They don't hate Britain. They don't love Britain. They're biscuits.
You know what really annoyed me was that the thing I like having about damaged tooth is that I've got now a hole that's big enough to store food in, but I'll be chewing something away and there'll still be a bit of biscuit and I'll be like, it's still there. But you think Stephen's screwing his face at the moment, but
that's not good.
It's not good because it's not good for my teeth, in terms of it'll be very damaging in terms of decay. But for the next week until I get seen by a dentist, I've got the infinite taste of the food I've just eaten. So if I have like a waffle, like a stroop waffle or something like that, that's like buttery and sort
It'll
of
just
sweet
like
and
slowly dissolve out of your tooth hole.
yeah.
Well, that's why
It'll still taste like that.
That's
though.
why I have a beard.
It's the way you store Monster Munch.
It's a delicious snack now and a lovely aperitif later.
You make it sound like you brew stuff in your beard. Like
No, it brews naturally. Natural botanical brewing. I was going to talk about the stupid Oregon people, but I can't be bothered.
No, I don't know much about it.
They're idiots.
Yeah.
Their arguments are unsound. If they believe the government doesn't have a right to take land, then they should give it all back to the Native Americans. The end.
Gun laws, if you want to.
Oh, let's not bother.
It's not that it's... That's
Can I just preface this? If you are an American who happens to stumble upon this in between f***ing your cousin and your smaller livestock, you have a gun. You don't need to defend yourself on the internet. You have a gun for that. So if you're going to comment, shut up. I've fired a gun. Have you ever fired a gun before?
Yes, I have. And it was scary. It was
It was awesome.
It was
awesome. I was like, look at my massive penis that can blow holes in things. Yeah!
I'm more into airsoft than I am actual guns.
Can't airsoft guns be like fairly easily converted into actual working firearms? That's why there's a big problem with them.
If you had small enough like
because they're all made of metal and stuff. They're proper.
Yeah. And airsoft guns are real imitation firearms, and they look exactly like the weapons they are supposed to be.
Yeah, you wouldn't
like
want to wave them around. Oh, no, you're
M4s.
right. You could wave a gun around as much as you want.
You can easily use all the accessories for an M4 weapon with an airsoft weapon.
It's because it's the same frame.
It is. It's exactly the same.
It's the same lower.
And
apart from the actual... I mean, it's really interesting, actually. I'm a bit of a junkie for those, like... Do you watch the videos on YouTube? The gun videos, various people do them?
No.
Do you not?
I don't know.
I find it perpetually amazing that these are regular civilians who just make videos like us making a podcast, apart from they have access to fully automatic weapons. Would you feel comfortable in a society where I was allowed to buy a gun? Don't have a criminal record.
No, I wouldn't.
No.
Like, with your beard?
No.
To be fair, your beard is like reason enough for you to get a weapon.
My beard is a weapon.
Yeah.
Of seduction. Hello, ladies.
Or men.
Why don't you take off that everything you're wearing?
Jesus.
Oh, that was awful.
Yeah. No, it's quite simple in terms of, and this is not going to be funny. If your constitution says you have the right to bear arms, use that in the literal sense, not in terms of arms equal guns. They don't equal guns. Arms equals arm yourself to teeth, whatever you want. That
includes guns. I think.
No, it includes guns.
I think they should be allowed nuclear weapons.
No, rubber chickens.
That's not a weapon.
Yes, it is.
It's an improvised weapon, which means it's not a weapon.
That's not improvised.
No, I could use you as a weapon. That doesn't mean you are a weapon.
I beg to differ.
Strong enough to pick you up and just beat somebody with you.
I'd one of those Sherbert dib-dab things and lock me in a room. Yeah, I'll do about 40 quid's worth of damage.
Welcome back to Competent Lewis's recording hour. Lewis switched off the record for some unknown reason.
And I really wanted to...
Which brings this podcast to an end. Americans with guns are stupid. Go away.